Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, consecration to Jesus through Mary. I absolutely love Mary. I'm just going to jump right into it. This is not going to be a testimony. This is just going to be me explaining what consecration to Jesus through Mary is and how it just will impact your life. And let me just ask you guys if you could smash that like button and hit subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss one of my videos. I really appreciate it. And just a little disclaimer saying to Jesus through Mary is quite long, so I will typically be referring to this just as Marian consecration, as that is just easier to say for this video. All right, so why consecrate ourselves? Very simply put, because she is our mom. This is literally in the Bible, you guys. John chapter 19, verse 26. Seeing his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing near her, Jesus said to his mother, "Woman, this is your son." Then to the disciple he said, "This is your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took him into his home. It was the end of Jesus's life. Mary, the mother of God, was born without sin, but she still had free will and she never committed a single sin. She is the only person to walk perfectly on this earth. You may have a fantastic relationship with your biological mother or a terrible relationship with your biological mother, but Mary is your mother. She is your spiritual mother. And in a way, she is going to be closer to you than your biological mother ever could be, because she will see all. I don't know about you, but I don't tell my biological mother everything. I can't hide anything from Mary though. She can see it all and she will always be there for me. Never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thy intercession was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly unto you, O Virgin of Virgins, my mother. That is from the memoir. And through this consecration, we will be giving up quite a bit, but we are giving it to Mary, and in return, she will use us as a vessel to do her good works and to do her son's good works. As you give up, where do my prayers go? Yes, I always offer up a prayer for my mother, for my brother, for my family. At the end of the day, Mary has the final say in where my prayers go. And you might think, okay, come on, I want to pray for my family. I don't want to pray for some random person in some other part of the world. Mary is not outdone in generosity. Because you are giving yourself to her, she will give herself more to your friends and to your family. She will look out for them. So please don't let that stop you from consecrating yourself to Mary. I got an email. A priest friend of mine gives a great example of this. He's a teacher, and he said, imagine you, a student, want to get a snow day, and you ask the principal for a snow day. Probably not going to work out. But if you ask your teacher for a snow day and the teacher asks the principal for the snow day, it has a little bit more weight and a little bit more chance of being fulfilled. So this is why we give ourselves to Mary. She carries more weight. She carries you. This is honest to God how I think I will die as someone who is given all to Mary. Is when I die, I will never be alone. I will be holding Mary's hand when I go before judgment. Don't you think it's gonna look a little bit better if I'm holding Mary's hand when I go before judgment? The author of this book, Fr Michael Gaitley, has this really beautiful quote. Total consecration to Jesus through Mary is truly the surest, easiest, shortest, and most perfect means to becoming a saint. And the 33 days are the best way to dive into such a blessing. I want to be a saint, you guys. I don't know about you. I want to be a saint. If this is the easiest way to become a saint, I recommend you follow this. How this book is set up is each week you learn about a different saint, starting with Saint Louis de Montfort, who basically, I don't want to say invented Marian consecration, but he was the first saint to bring it up, and it's a great week, let me tell you. Then Saint Maximilian Kolbe, who was the one who discovered what the Immaculate Conception actually meant. Then there is Saint Mother Teresa, whom I hope we've all heard about, and her unbelievable visions that she had of Mary and just how she gave her life completely over to Mary and the fruits of that life. And then of course, Pope John Paul II. If you're my age, you barely remember Pope John Paul II, but you remember that everybody loved him and he was amazing and he gave his life to Mary. I'm not saying that if you do this consecration, you'll never face suffering again, but the suffering you will face will be sweeter. The crosses you will face will be sweeter because of Mary. I like to look at the sufferings I've been through recently or throughout my life and see how that suffering has made me a better, more empathetic, more compassionate person. And I think it's all due to the fact that I've given myself over to Mary, and she has been able to humble me and to help me. And now I'm a better person and a better friend, and I really appreciate that. And I credit that all to my Marian consecration. One of the biggest things I think we can learn from Mary is to trust in God. Like I mentioned, She was at Calvary watching her son, who she was told would be the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, die in the most absolute gruesome death possible. Now, maybe you're a single person who you just got out of a relationship, or you're a single mom or single dad and you might think no one will ever love me again, no one will ever want to be married to me. Okay, if Mary could believe that her son would be King of Kings and Lord of Lords when she's literally watching him die, why can't you believe that you will find a spouse? This is something you actually need to put the work into, and you might not see the fruits of it right away, but I'm telling you guys, if you go back and review your life, you will see the gifts that Mary has given you through this consecration. Another tip I can give you guys, please be childlike, not childish, be childlike. Be open to the gifts that Mary might receive in your life. Be open to change. You don't know what it's going to lead to. And just be like a child who will listen to their mother. You can just look to the wedding feast in Cana when Jesus said to his mother, "Woman, my time has not yet come." And she's saying, "Hey, no, you got to help this bride and groom out with the wine. They're out of wine. This is embarrassing. We need to help our friends have a wonderful party. They're celebrating their marriage." I'm paraphrasing a little bit what Mary said, but I think Mary said something along those lines. And you know what? Jesus listened to his mother. So if we ask Mary for something, she's going to ask her son for it. And what can Jesus refuse his mother? I want to begin to close out with this really, really powerful quote from St. Louis de Montfort. "Satan fears Mary not only more than the angels and men, but more than God himself. This does not mean that the anger, hatred, and power of God are not infinitely greater than the Blessed Virgin's, since her attributes are limited. It simply means that Satan, being so proud, suffers infinitely more in being vanquished and punished by a lowly and humble servant of God, for her humility humiliates him more than the power of God." Let that sink in. Mary is not God. She's a human. She's not God. Humans are made out of dirt. Literally, Satan hates humans. And he could not handle the fact that this woman, this dirt woman, was going to be his queen. And the fact that we love her and that she brings so many souls to heaven humiliates him. It humiliates him so much more than God bringing a soul to heaven. Even though God is God, Mary is a woman. She is nothing. She's just a person. And it humiliates him that she is bringing people to God. All right, you guys, if you could let me know in the comments below, have you done this consecration before? What impact has it had on your life? What is holding you back from doing this consecration? I'd love to hear more about that. And if you could go ahead and push that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss one of my videos, it's really gonna help out the algorithm so more people can see this content. Right here, oh, this is St. Therese. That's Jesus. Now we got Mary. I have the Our Lady of Mount Carmel statue. I absolutely love this, and she is awesome, so love her statue being here. Next, I think I'll hold off on showing you guys the rest of my apartment for another day when I have it a little bit cleaner, but I am wearing an Our Lady medal. Always wearing one of those. You'll always see that in one of my videos. All right, I love you guys. Bye.